Hi, and welcome to today's Daily Chronicle. Today is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Portland Trail Blazers coach pleads not guilty in rigged poker games case. New York Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame, pleaded not guilty Monday to charges he profited from rigged poker games involving several mafia figures and at least one other ex-NBA player. Billups, a five-time All-Star who won a championship with the Detroit Pistons, was arraigned in a federal court in Brooklyn on money laundering conspiracy and wire fraud conspiracy charges, each person carrying a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Prosecutors say he was involved in a scheme to rig mob-backed illegal poker games in Manhattan, Las Vegas, Miami, and the Hamptons. Others face charges of running an illegal gambling business, robbery conspiracy, and extortion conspiracy. Prosecutors said Monday that plea negotiations have begun with some defendants, but did not identify them. U.S. District Court Judge Raymond Reyes said he hopes to bring the sprawling case to trial by next September, telling lawyers to do what you have to do. Billups, dressed in a dark gray suit, spoke only to answer yes or no questions. From the judge, his lawyer Mark McCasey entered his plea. They declined to comment after the hearing. Last month, another Billups lawyer called him a man of integrity who denies the allegations. To believe that John C. Billups did what the federal government is accusing him of is to believe that he would risk his Hall of Fame legacy, his reputation, and his freedom. Attorney Chris Haywood said after the Billups first appeared in court on October 23rd, when prosecutors first announced the indictment. Billups, 49, was released on a $5 million bond secured by his family's Colorado home. He must refrain from gambling, avoid contact with other defendants or alleged victims, surrender his passport, and limit travel to 7 states, including Oregon and New York and Washington, D.C. Inducted last year into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame, Billups was arguably the most prominent among more than the 30 people charged in last month's sprawling federal takedown of illegal gambling operations linked to professional sports. Also charged are ex-NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who prosecutors say schemed with others to let gamblers exploit insider information about players to win NBA bets. In addition to Monday's arraignment, Billups and his co-defendants attended a status conference and are due back in court March 4th. Prosecutors say the poker rigging scheme used altered card shuffling machines, hidden cameras in chip trays, special sunglasses, and x-ray equipment to build into the table to read cards. They alleged the operation defrauded victims of an estimated $7 million starting in at least 2019. Billups allegedly served as a celebrity face card that could draw wealthy, unsuspecting players to the games. Prosecutors said organizers texted during one game that a victim acted like he wanted Chauncey to have his money because he was starstruck. Prosecutors say Billups received a portion of the ill-gotten gains, including a $50,000 wire transfer after a rigged game in October 2020. Organizers also had to share their proceeds with the Gambino, Genovese, and Bombano mob families for operating within the illegal poker games to run by the New York criminal enterprises. Prosecutors said, in return, mafia members allegedly carried out assault, extortion, and robbery to collect debts and protect the operation. During his NBA career, Billups earned about $106 million. After retiring in 2014, he embarked on a career as a TV analyst before pivoting to coaching. Billups was selected as the third overall pick in the 1997 draft by the Boston Celtics after starring in college for the Colorado Buffaloes. He played 17 years in the NBA, with stints with the Toronto Raptors, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, New York Knicks, and Los Angeles Clippers. But he is perhaps most beloved in the Motor City, where he earned the nickname Mr. Big Shot for his knack of making clutch shots. Billups was named the NBA Finals MVP during the Pistons title run in 2004. He had his number 1 jersey retired by the team. He was hired as Portland's coach in 2021 and signed a multi-year extension with the Trailblazers earlier this year, after the team missed out on the playoffs for the 4th straight season in 2024. Billups previously served as an assistant coach for the Los Angeles Clippers. After his arrest, he was placed on unpaid leave, and the Trailblazers named assistant coach and former NBA player Tiago Splitter as interim coach. More than 100 homes damaged by tornado near Houston. Guillermo Vargas surveys damage to his home where his garage was swept off its foundation, while cleaning up storm damage after severe weather hit in the Memorial Northwest subdivision in Spring, Texas, on Monday. Houston. More than 100 homes have been damaged after a tornado touched down in residential area outside Houston, authorities in Texas said Monday. No injuries were reported. Photos and drone video posted on Facebook by the Harris County Precinct 3 constable showed roofs with shingles ripped off. Some debris blocked roads. The damage affected the Memorial Northwest neighborhood, according to the office of Mark Herman, the constable. The Houston Fire Department dispatched 5 members of its SAW team to cut up and remove toppled trees, spokesperson Rustin Rawlings said. The National Weather Service issued a tornado watch for southeastern Texas, including Houston, until 1 a.m. Tuesday. It also issued a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of southeastern Texas. The U.S. Transportation Department is urging air passengers to be on good behavior. The American Airlines flight attendant serves drinks to passengers after departing Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. The U.S. Department of Transportation is launching what it's calling a civility campaign to promote good behavior on flights and at airports. As the busy holiday travel season gets underway, the department is naming the campaign The Golden Age of Travel Starts With You, and announced the effort in a press release last week. The Dot shared a 1.5-minute video that begins with images of airline travelers of past decades, set to Frank Sinatra's Come Fly With Me. The video then shifts abruptly to tense music and video clips of bare feet swiping on an in-flight monitor, and then a series of brawls on flights. Secretary Sean Duffy then poses 5 questions he says every air traveler should ask themselves this holiday season. The questions include: are you helping a pregnant woman put her bag in the overhead bin? Are you dressing with respect? And are you saying thank you to your flight attendants and pilots? The campaign is intended to jumpstart a nationwide conversation around how we can all restore courtesy and class to air travel. The press release reads, "This won't just make the travel experience better for the flying public, it will ensure the safety of passengers, gate workers, flight attendants, and pilots." The DOT cites a rise in bad behavior on board. The agency says there have been 13,800 incidents involving unruly passengers since 2021. Since 2019, the Federal Aviation Administration has seen a 400% increase in in-flight outbursts, including to the Transportation Department. In 2023, the FAA reported nearly 2,000 incidents. Which was a sharp decline from the height of pandemic when mask mandates fueled many disputes. The FAA expects this Thanksgiving holiday to be the busiest for air travel in 15 years, with Tuesday seeing the most air travelers. AAA projects 6 million people will be flying in the U.S. for the Thanksgiving holiday. Just Google me. Slender Man Stabber is recaptured after fleeing her group home. Morgan Gazer appears in court in January in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Gazer was released from a psychiatric facility to a group home earlier this year. Morgan Geyser, one of the perpetrators of the 2014 Slender Man stabbing, was taken into custody near Chicago on Sunday, a day after cutting off her ankle monitor and leaving her Wisconsin group home. Geyser was reported missing on Saturday night after correction officials were notified that her GPS monitoring bracelet was malfunctioning. They contacted the group home that her GPS monitoring bracelet was malfunctioning. They contacted the group home and learned that she was not at home and that she removed her GPS bracelet. According to the Madison Police Department, the Madison police said they were not made aware of her disappearance until nearly 12 hours later. On Sunday morning, as the search unfolded, Geyser's attorney, Tony Cotton, posted a video to Instagram urging her to turn herself in. "Do not continue to remain on the run like this," he said. "It is not in your best interest to handle this matter that way." Geyser was found Sunday night across state lines, some 65 miles away in Poston, Illinois, about 20 miles south of Chicago. The Poston Police Department said on Monday, they said officers responded to a report of a man and a woman loitering behind a truck stop and found the two sleeping on the sidewalk. The woman repeatedly refused to provide her name and initially gave them a fake one. After attempts to identify her, she finally stated that she didn't want to tell the officers who she was because she had done something really bad, and suggested the officers could just Google her name, police added. Once she provided her true identities, officer confirmed she was Morgan Geyser, who was wanted out of Wisconsin for escape after walking away from a group home where she had been placed. Geyser, now 23, moved into the group home in Madison this fall, after she was released from a psychiatric facility where she had spent the last 7 years. A judge approved her release over a decade after she and a friend lured their classmate into the Wisconsin woods, stabbed her more than a dozen times, and left her for dead to appease the fictional supernatural villain, Slender Man. Poston police say Geyser and the male, whom they did not name, were taken into custody without incident on Sunday. Cotton, her attorney, told NPR in an emailed statement on Monday that it is not clear whether she left the group home voluntarily or whether something nefarious took place, such as an abduction. As I have said before, the biggest fear I had for Morgan upon her release from the mental hospital was her ability to navigate new relationships, particularly with older men who might not have her best interests in mind, Cotton wrote. "I witnessed firsthand during the 12 years that I presented Morgan how they were seemingly normal men who would find their way into her orbit and act in ways that were highly inappropriate." NPR has also contacted the police department in Madison and Poston for more information, but did not hear back by publication time. A refresher on Geyser's case. Geyser, among her friend Anissa Weier, lured their classmate Peyton Leitner to a wooded area in Waukesha, Wisconsin, after a sleepover in May 2014. When all three were 12 years old. The girls got Leutner to lie down under the guise of playing hide and seek. Then Geyser stabbed her 19 times in the arms, legs, and torso, while Wire egged her on. The two then told Lautner they would look for help, but instead began a planned trek towards a forest in northern Wisconsin, where they believed Slender Man lived in a mansion. Police found and apprehended them hours later on the side of the freeway, and they were charged with attempted murder the next day. Geyser and Wire told detectives that they had orchestrated the attack to appease the fictional character. Meanwhile, Leutner managed to crawl out of the woods and was taken to a hospital for emergency surgery after being discovered by a passing bicyclist. One of the doctors who treated her later said that one of the stab wounds had missed a major artery by less than a millimeter. The perpetrators were both tried as adults, were found guilty by reason of mental disease or defect in 2017, and committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. Wire for 25 years and Geyser for 40. Wire was released in 2021, while Geyser appealed for release 4 times in the last 2 years, most recently in October 2024. A judge approved Geyser's conditional release after hearing in January, during which 3 experts testified about the progress she had made in mental health treatment. But she was unable to move out for more than a half a year after that due to legal and logistical challenges. Officials with Wisconsin Health Department opposed Geyser's release, alleging that Geyser didn't tell her therapy team that she had read a book about murder and selling organs on the black market, and that she had been communicating with a man who collects murder memorabilia. Cotton responded that Geyser only read what facility staff allowed, and that staff were aware of her communications with the collector when she stopped after learning he was selling things that she sent him. Then, prosecutors objected the release plan after Leutner's mother expressed concern that the chosen group home was only 8 miles away from where her daughter was living. Leutner told ABC News in 2020 that she still slept with a pair of broken scissors under the pillow next to her, just in case, though she didn't fear the idea that Geyser was being released one day. If she ever tried to come by me, she would go right back where she was, said Leutner, who credits her experience with motivating her to pursue a career in the medical field. A judge approved the Wisconsin Department of Health Services revised plan in July, but by the end of the summer, potential placements at 3 different groups' home had fallen through for various reasons, including public backlash. Cotton told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel in late October that Geyser had been placed in a group home, though its exact location was sealed by the court. She disappeared less than a month later.